Hey, it's Dean Soto, freedomin5minutes.com, prosaloom.com, founder and CEO of both. And today's topic is emotion beats logic every time. That and more coming up. Woo! All right, check this out. This is my my little fire pit swing. We got a couple swings right here. You can sit with me. Got the view back there of the beautiful hills. Kind of looks like a desert right now. In spring, this is extremely green, but as of now, we should be expecting some tarantulas to come out. Usually some tarantulas will come out. I don't think we're technically in the desert, but October and November is tarantula. December season is tarantula season, so they start coming out and walking around and doing their thing. But anyway, I digress. So, the co-pilot, the co-host is down in Southern California, so you just have me today. Sorry. Topic. So emotion versus logic. So last night I was talking with a friend of mine who is also, he's basically a prime contract for a subcontract that I'm on right now. Essentially what we were doing was for one company that were working with, they hired the both of us essentially to create a brand new company. I'm going to stop swinging because that probably looks weird. To create a brand new company. Here's my apricot and peach trees in the background. I need to water these babies, especially that one right there. Anyway, he hired us to create a brand new company, which was cool because we did it in about 30 days. It was essentially had to create a whole entire sales pipeline, automate it, put some virtual staff behind it, created the system documentation for it with the staff that we used, and it was pretty awesome. Up and running in 30 days. Already have a few leads in there. And the thing was, though, that real quick, I'll give you some background on what the whole thing is. It's a financial services company, and essentially what they do is say you have a lot of money in assets, whether you have currently in assets, or say in a 401k you have 6 figures or more. They have a proprietary way of seeing what you have, and then they have this thing that can actually show you how to best allocate all of your financial, all of this, your financial stuff, assets and so on, to go into first trust deeds, to go into real estate, to go into different tax deferred stuff, all this other stuff. It's really, really cool. And the point is to create what they call foundational cash flow, where you're just building a foundation of cash flow that's always going to be giving you cash throughout your entire life, whether you're 20 years old right now or whether you're 60 years old, just giving that cash flow that's just consistently coming in. All that being said, that is the pipeline that we're building. So a lot of people are already there. A lot of people are already in. They have things in, say, stocks or 401ks or things that don't necessarily bring cash flow, right? And that is something that's very important, which a lot of people don't see. What they'll do is they'll put their money into all these different investments, but those investments are based off of appreciation and depreciation, but not actually bringing in cash every month. That's not always the case, but in a lot of these, it's that way. So one of the big things, if you can't tell, especially if you don't already think this way, is that the person who comes into the pipeline has to have a specific way of thinking. One of the problems that they were having, even though we built the pipeline, and this is the way it always is. I mean, you build something that quickly, you're always gonna have to test, right? You're always gonna have to, boom, test, see what happens, make a decision, move on to the next. So test, boom, see what happens, make a decision, move on to the next thing. The problem that they were facing is they would have people who fill out this questionnaire, who give all of their initial financial information, and what would happen is they would schedule a call to get them onto the next stage, to get them moving to the next point, and the person really didn't understand what they were doing in the first place, why they would have to get first trust deeds, or what products they were going to have to buy, or what things, and they didn't understand really the entire process. And so my buddy, whom I'm working with, calls and says, he goes and says that they're having this problem, and so he wanted to create a video that kind of taught people how to, and really converted their mindset and taught them like why they're doing what they're doing, and why they're going to have this phone call, and so on and so forth. Well, as we started talking, what really became apparent was the questions that the people were asking were based on logic. The questions that they were asking were based off of data and information. And there's a really good book out there called Pitch Anything. And he gives a great example. He gives many, many examples of why, as soon as you get into, if you're doing any type of sales, if you're doing anything that is remotely selling anything, and we do this all the time. It could be selling your wife on going on a date night. It could be selling your children on how to do, on something that you want them to do. It could be selling an actual product, right? It could be anything like that. The moment we get into a logical or informational conversation, the selling temperature goes down tremendously, which means you are going to have a heck of a time selling. I'm trying to get out of the sun if you can. There, boom. I think that's better. All right, you're gonna have a heck of a time selling. You just are, because we make decisions, buying decisions or any other decisions, 5-minute decisions, quick decisions, based off of emotion, not based off of logic. As much as you might want to say that you are basing your decision off of logic, for the most part, you are basing it off of emotion. And so with the conversation, I started kind of gearing and veering the conversation toward, because it basically went from, hey, they're asking all these questions on what product is this and blah, blah, blah. I want to create a video that explains what products they're getting and so on and so forth. So it turned in a conversation from how to create videos that would do and teach that to more of, well, why don't we just pre-frame, what we call pre-frame, somebody coming in, because a lot of these guys were based off of referrals, pre-frame them on something that's much more emotional, okay? Something that it explains what's going on, but not really the details of it, all right? So that being said, what we ended up coming up with was doing a couple of things, but one is framing it as, because we don't want every customer coming into that particular pipeline, because not everyone is qualified for it mentally as well as financially. So we should, not even us, but the actual referrer should say something to the effect of, hey, look, this is what foundational cash flow is. What's going to happen is they are going to look at your financial situation. They're going to run an allocation. They're going to call you, And then they're going to tell you where they think you should put your money in what products. And the products really don't, they do matter, but they don't matter, because it's not really about the product, it's about foundational cash flow and getting that cash flow going. Now, you, Mr. Referral, that I'm going to go refer, you're going to need to fill out this information, but you're going to need to be as detailed as possible. Plus, they're going to give you a phone call. You need to understand these few things. If you don't understand these few things, they are going to deny you. They're going to decline you. They don't take everybody. All right? They're going to decline you. So it's imperative that you take these few steps so that they don't decline you and not allow you to move forward into the next stage, where they actually show you where you can allocate things. And that's where you can start making decisions on whether you want to go in that direction or not. But you don't want to come in just asking about all of these different things, because it's not that, you're not even at that point yet, and it's going to turn them off to you. Okay? So that's what we came up with when it came to the referrers themselves. They are framing ahead of time emotionally. Very big difference than a cold, oh, well, what products are you recommending, and what is that product? What does it do? And how much should I put in, or should I do this, or whatever? No, it has nothing to do with that anymore. Now it's like, oh crap, okay, all right, I understand. I need to be as detailed as possible. I need to make it to where I seem like I can be a part of this, and so on and so forth. Very different frame, a very emotional frame. Think about Lamborghini. If you went out and tried to buy a Lamborghini, they qualify the heck out of you. Not everyone can buy a Lamborghini. Yeah, you have the money, but they will test the crap out of you. It's just the way it is. Really high-end products, really high-end products. Some car manufacturers will literally make you sign a contract saying that you will do maintenance at a certain time. If you don't, then it voids out everything and all this other stuff, and that you have to return the car and things like that, because it's framing in a sense of emotion. Oh, I want to be a part of this in crowd. I want to have this Lamborghini. I want to have this, you know, whatever thing it is. It frames it emotionally rather than logically. That's why a Lamborghini can sell a car for $500,000 when all of the parts don't even cost, you know, $50,000 to $100,000, right? Because of who they are and how they frame themselves, how they emotionally frame themselves to you and to the people who buy. So why is this important? It's important because when we're making decisions, when we're making quick decisions, we don't realize that the more information that you have isn't necessarily going to help you with the decision and to make the decision. There's been times where I have researched things to death. Research things to death, and still did not make a decision. So it's important that you find the emotion behind the decision that you're going to make. Do you want to stop? Do you want to start exercising? Well, what is the emotional thing behind that decision that's going to help you start exercising? For me, going to the gym was the result of my wife basically, through a series of things, letting me know that I'm out of shape, and that it would be really meaningful to her if I went back to being fit. We could talk about that another time. That was another story. But that was an emotional thing. I want to be in shape for my wife. I want to be the king of my house. I want to not be in a... I want to be in a state of ultra fitness as I'm going through this. I'm not totally fit yet, but getting there. Freedom in 5 minutes shirt. But I want... That's the emotional trigger behind that decision. The next thing is just to realize that in order to make a quick decision, you can have as much information as you want, but But you have to act on the emotion. You have to act on your gut, okay? Act on that, on your gut. And the cool thing is, as soon as you make a decision, you'll get feedback immediately. Boom, 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 boom. You'll get feedback immediately. So like with my friend and our project that we're doing, that we have our client, with our client, that decision right there will get instant feedback from the next few calls that go, right? Will sales be easier? If they are, boom, success. If they're not, now we try something different, right? You're not, just because you make a decision, you go with your gut, boom, it'll be good. Good because you get feedback. It doesn't mean it's gonna be perfect, but you're gonna get feedback. So what's the one thing right now that you've researched to death, that you need to make a decision on? Make that one decision, even if it's a tiny little step forward toward that decision. Even if it's a tiny little step forward, okay? What's the one thing? And just make a tiny little step, see the feedback, use the emotion behind it. What's the emotional reason why you haven't even done it yet, or why you need to do it? Use the emotion, see what the feedback is, and you'll move on to the next stage of that decision. Okay, so that's what I want you to do in this next go around. So, Dean Soto, Freedom in 5 Minutes. I have my kids yelling at me in the house, so I'm gonna go now. But freedomin5minutes.com, prosulum.com. I will see you in the next video. See ya.